I think we all have a responsibility to understand the times. Now, what you're not going to know is that, or maybe no is the wrong way to put it. But the day is pretty much the day, even the week. But understanding the times and the seasons is something that can be researched. To get an idea of what things are like, in previous times, previous seasons. And yes, you can use the old example of winter, spring, summer, and fall. And for the most part, that's pretty much true. Those seasons come, they're named, so they do come. However, conditions change within even those seasons. This is the fire season in California. However, we've had more fires here in Southern California than we did the previous season. Now, you could debate the reasons why, but the reality is you kind of know fires are going to come during fire season. What you don't understand is how intense it's going to be or not going to be. It's just understanding the seasons. Understanding the times, I think, is a little bit tougher for people, which is where I want to kind of spend my time talking to you. Understanding the times is more philosophical than experiential. Is that the right word? Than something that you experience. Understanding the times means that you have the ability to look back in history, that's the reason why to me history is so important. But you can look back in history and see during other times what is happening. Now, again, conditions change because now we are highly technically advanced. So things change, but time still repeats itself. In the 70s, there was no such thing as an algorithm. Discrimination has become legal, as it was before, but even more so. An algorithm decides what will be seen and what will not be seen. The majority of people who even know me won't even see this video unless it's paid for, they trip over it or whatever. An algorithm can even take it off of the internet, even though I can see it. It cannot be seen by others, even though it's right in front of them, because it's not really there. The algorithm makes the decision on what you see. So you think you understand reality, but you really don't. Reality is what another company or person creates, even though it's right in front of them. But you can't see it because they've changed the algorithm. Understanding the times. The other flip side of the coin, or the flip side of that coin, is that you can see what's going on, but you don't interpret it for what you've seen based on history, for probably more than a couple of reasons, but I'm going to list a couple. One reason is because people are in denial. Maybe I'll list a few. What do I mean by denial? It means I can say something is happening for one reason. You could say, nah, I think you're overreacting. Okay. But I see it based upon the historical data, or data, all depending on how you say it. But based upon historical data, I see that this has the same effect as something else in the past, even though it looks different, because these are highly technical times. Technology has changed, but it's the same thing that happened in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s or 2000. Same stuff. And you could say, nah, you're overreacting. Well, if in the 60s someone tried to overturn, or the 70s, or if the country overturned tribes in the creation of this country, maybe I'm not overreacting. Maybe if a whole continent was overturned. Now keep in mind what I've said in the past. The battle is for souls and territory. That's never changed, and it never will change, because that's the great human battle. You're trying to win people to your side, and you're trying to take their property at the same time to enlarge your territory. So you don't want to buy it, you just want to create a law, or you want to interpret the law in a way that takes their mental or physical territory. We've seen that before. This is not new. Understanding the times is not to be in denial of the past. Second part of that, or a second component of that, are the ones who are doing it on purpose. They believe more in having their way than a collaborative system. They want to collaborate with the people they want to collaborate, and they want to displace the people they want to displace. Now, I know it sounds like I'm talking only about what's happening here August 7th, 2021, but these are principles. And these are not the first times that these particular things happened. This is the reason why I'm just using them as examples. You can even look back in history and figure out what's going to happen. It happened in Rome, it happened in Greece. You can put it off. It happened on what's called the African continent. You know, you can put it off for maybe another generation or two or whatever. But the system itself is flawed, and because of the flaw in the system, it will adjust based upon the power, not of the majority, but it will adjust based upon the powers that be economically. Same old systems. So you have the ones who are in denial. You have the ones who are doing it on purpose. Then you have the most dangerous ones, in my opinion, which are the ones who are just followers. They're not in denial. They know you're trying to uproot whatever system it is, but they see what's in it for them. They think that they're going to gain advantage. Back in the days of slavery, a lot of emphasis is put on African slaves because they were shipped all over the world. They shipped over into different islands, Jamaica, famous, Haiti. Just famous tales of slavery being fought back by those who were trying to oppress them for the purpose of bringing slave labor. It wasn't about the color of their skins. In fact, they had bribed the kings and queens of the continent to turn over large swaths of people, and with the promise of going to a new land and being able to have some sort of wealth, and they were tricked. Slavery is not a new idea. It's been around for centuries. Beyond the African experience, the modern African experience of the 15, 16, 1700s, it was all a setup for more than a few years. There was a discussion being had between European countries that were making a decision on how to cut up the continent that they decided was named Africa. And they came in with a system to take advantage of the people. So slavery is not new. It's always been a battle for territory. They wanted the territory. They saw the opportunity for territory, and they saw the opportunity for cheap labor. They were more technologically advanced. Does that sound familiar? So it had nothing to do with the numbers. It had everything to do with the technology and the advancement of technology. And they went in with a strategy. I think a great strategic book or strategy book is the Book of Five Rings. Great book. But they went in with a strategy. They took out the leaders. The people will follow. Those are the dangerous ones, the followers. They won't fight back. You take out key people, the followers won't fight back. Even though they're in the majority, they saw their leader die. Also, not a new phenomenon. We've seen it all through American history, where African American leaders were taken out cold-bloodedly. But because of the desire for economic domination, not domination over a black race, just economic domination. They used coming back here in America, they used poor and middle-class white people against poor and middle-class black people, and they created a rift. To have economic domination. Understand the times. Understand the deceptive practice of playing against these three people, these three groups. Now, maybe there are more. But for the most part, I think that sums it up for me. You have those who are deceived, you have those who are followers, and you have those who are just doing it on purpose. And it's mainly because none of them understand the times. Well, most of them don't understand the times, and aren't familiar with history, I think we need to learn a little bit more about history.